Abusuya bema kwa aba sonko so edeba POG Media so. Abusuya yembonra eye yensem. Aye former Chief Justice Sophia Akuffo ababonten ababe blaste afenyo markings over aye 3 petitions to remove aye Chief Justice Torkornoo. Afenyo markings asha say epese oye ode politics. Sa constitutional process na John Dramani Mahama and the Council of State enamsono afenyo Markin Sasha say ye politics ebusuya former Chief Justice Sophia Akuffo ababonten ababe schoolie afenyo Markins ouchen say afenyo Markins should shut up to allow a constitutional process na say ekosono onka na nuntum din na oma John Dramani Mahama oma na kwan na constitutional process nyede enkoso na onjai say ensema enwuhia ote abonten okeka no na nensem okeka kra no ehye ebufu papa abusuya former Chief Justice Sophia Akuffo aba to be amana a schooling no amano legal wisdom ebusuya enye asam keto akra lawyer edozi tamakulu aba be my hot details about their course yan say mom yanko na ye konkoti ensma e course madam say.
I think at this point the minority must stay away and allow President Mahama to perform his constitutional responsibility. If there is any merit, and I've always said, thankfully, the Council of State has a retired Chief Justice on that committee. Her guidance, and in fact, thankfully, she even is in a very interesting situation. You know why?
Relationship.
No, Charlotte says prima facie determination was made by who?
By her.
By her. So if there's anybody that has that experience, she'll bring that experience to bear. What did she see? In fact, if she's somebody who could make, yes, if she could make a prima facie determination for the removal of Charlotte on her own, or even that one on her own, because remember that the process is different. If it comes to the Chief Justice, it's a different rule. But for other Superior Court judges, it's the Chief Justice that makes that determination. And she found it that in the case of Madame Charlotte Osei, the evidence of breaches of the Procurement Act was enough to warrant the establishment of the 5-member committee chaired by His Lordship Justice Benny. Has President Mahama done otherwise? No. So away from this, complete red herring. But it is actually an emotional conversation now. Because you see, CSOs, you must stand for the judiciary.
I'm here, I will speak.
Has President Mahama, as we speak, President Mahama, has he appointed any judge?
No.
Has he appointed any judge?
No.
So where from the interference? Has President Mahama asked that a particular judge should sit on a case involving him or his government? No. If there was any evidence of judicial interference, kindly look at the African peer review report in 2004. No, 2005, even though it reflected 2004. When the Chikata trial, the fast-track composition, where in the midst, President Akuffo appointed Justice Afre to the Supreme Court and got onto the panel that reversed the original fast-track decision. The African peer review mechanism report indicted the president as directly interfering in the judiciary. President John Dramani Mahama does not have that reckless record. So where is the conversation going? President Mahama, on the 7th day of January 2025, in taking his oath, said, I shall respect the 1992 Constitution. What A.Markin and his micro minority are doing is to say, President Mahama, disobey the Constitution, which will now be a ground for his removal. Because remember that if the president disobeys the constitutional order, that's grounds for his removal. At this point, with all the counsel available to President Mahama, he is fortified not to obey that recklessness, but to stick to what the Constitution says.
Right.
Let's see what the coming days will reflect.
Indeed, but lawyer Christian Mamhesi as well on this, because where is the concern really so far in the process as it's unfolding under 146, under Article 146? Where exactly does the position by, for instance, the immediate past Attorney General have merit, that to the extent that there is an application for an injunction, the process should be put on hold until the determination of such a case?
My very senior brother from Chiame, my senior Adam.
Yes.
Yes. And then the religious, yes, and then the religious viewers,
Indeed,
the people who view key points. It has gotten to the point of a religion.
Indeed.
On Saturdays. But quickly, let me do this. My senior brother, the Honorable Nilante Vanderpool, he is watching. Now, the wife is one of your ardent viewers. Today happens to be her birthday, Diana Kole Vanderpool. So wherever she is, happy birthday to her. But that said, I think that the initial comment and the passion by Senor had put matters in proper perspective. I think this is one time that you can say that, usually the judgment is having read the erudite submission of my learned brother, I have nothing useful to add except to concur. So this one, in concurring, I just need to say that I understand that there's even another village closer to this one called Jerusalem, which is bigger, yes, called Jerusalem.
Yeah, Jerusalem.
Yes. Jerusalem, and Jerusalem is bigger than this particular one. And you see, we come and sit on the national television and raise these concerns. But trust me, the Forestry Commission people, they know this settlement. And they have always known that this settlement existed.
They've always known.
Yes, almost 2 years now.
So why did
almost 2 years now, this place, Abrewan Ninkrine.
And Jerusalem had always existed.
Jerusalem.
And you see, these communities, usually they start like village. You know, like you go to farm and you have a farm village.
Yeah.
Then tomorrow, another set of people will come and join you. Another set will come and join you. Another set. And then it started expanding. In fact, it is, quote unquote, a nation on its own, with all the things that is required to make people live well. But you see, you know what has happened? It has to take the Honorable Defense Minister, Dr. Omane Boama, the new IGP, the National Security Coordinator, again, the new leadership of the Forestry Commission, to say, no, enough is enough. But for that, this community will still be there. All the people involved in our natural resource conversation, particularly within the Western region, the RECSEC, until 2024, knew about these two settlements.
What?
Yes.
There's Jerusalem and Mabrewa.
Jerusalem and this one. They knew about this settlement. In fact, this settlement was so close to the home of one of the deputy ministers then. So, look, I am saying that, look, I have absolute confidence that President Mahama will fight this thing. Because, you see, these are things, legacies, that he's taking over, and he wants to demolish that infrastructure. My brother, Senor, look, the past 8 years, Galamsey, it was terrible. You see, we have moved from the point of complaint to action. The actionable intelligence that led to the destruction of this community And the number of people, in fact, even the fear I have now is that without the benefit of alternative livelihood for these people, there's also another potential risk that we should be anticipating.
Which is what?
Now they have moved from here. They have to go and look somewhere else.
Yes.
To resettle. So they are going to be, it's like a cell, cancerous. It moves through the other cells. And that is what this whole thing. And, you know, it's supposed to be a whole security arrangement where, with the greatest respect, you even need to profile the people and appreciate who they are, where they are coming from, the purpose of resettling them, among other things. So it's a whole conversation that we need to have. And as for the economics of it, it's about a numbers game. Look, the Honorable Dr. Omane shared something on his Facebook page, very instructive, that for the first time, government is now following up on the chassis numbers on the excavators. And the whole idea of following up on the chassis numbers is to identify the owners of those excavators. So we are getting closer to the kingpins.
So because that was a manifesto promise.
No,
you're not going to deal with the small boys in the forest.
No.
You're going to identify the financiers, the kingpins behind this illegality. So what have you done in that regard?
So like again, the Honorable Defense Minister had just put out there in the public. That's the level of accountability and transparency we want to approach this conversation. And where in this situation, what government is essentially doing is to say that, listen, we are following up on the lead. We want to know who brought in this excavator. Like we say, excavator no get wing.
Yes, you know they fly.
You know they fly. Somebody had to bring it into this country. The chassis number will give provide that essential intelligence as to who the owners. As you are aware, the Ghana police, and again, I want to salute the IGP, Yohonu, for an excellent job so far. Together with the National Security Coordinator, the Interior Minister, the Defense Minister. I know people want more, but I can tell you that these people are not sleeping on the job.
Okay.
Look, Akonta mining. There's a particular mining, you know, just about 2 days ago, about almost 15 Chinese nationals, about 20 Ghanaians, excavators and other mining equipment were equally raided. There was a raid. And from all indication, it is linked to Akonta mining.
How did you know this?
No, because the report, the news report, clearly gave that indication that they are on that site on behalf of Akonta mining.
They quoted who in that news report saying?
In fact, if I need to just get you the news
And why is
report.
that? So it's noted that we already have a petition at the IGP's office. We submitted a petition during Dan Paris tenure against Akonta mining, who was clearly found to be acting illegally
I think
in their mines by Mincom. So we have a petition there which has not been acted by the Ghana police.
I am just saying that, me, I don't care whether you are NDC or MPP in this matter. Whoever you are, because you see, myself and you here, right, we'll go out to the various restaurants, buy food items, we'll go and eat. Where the food items are coming from, we don't know. Whether they are coming from polluted mining communities, we don't know. And we don't know that in this whole mining conversation is the use of cyanide, mercury, and all of those things. And these are heavy metals.
Ghana Water can fix it.
Now, we also do know that Ghana Water has been complaining over the period, one, about the costs of treating water for all of us.
Yes.
What is our ability as a people to break down these heavy metals like mercury and the rest? How are we able to do? So eventually the treated water that we are using at home may just end up being galamsey polluted but treated water for our household. The net effect is health issues. So anybody who says, oh, we are getting gold, and that gold is enough to compensate for the health, issues associated. With the greatest respect, you are not being fair to this republic. And so, Alfred, even the economics doesn't help us because they are not tax paying. Look, because of the illegal nature of the conversation, we are not getting the appropriate taxes. So again, revenue loss.
Big one.
Revenue loss. And so the economics is bad, the health is bad, the concern about the environment, Bobo. I remember in our natural resource class, Dr. Ine taught us natural resource law. And one of the things that we used to look at, an environmental law by Professor Kwame Jan, one of the things that we used to talk about is intergenerational issues. The level at which we are destroying the environment, the generational issues, you can never actually mitigate it.
Sure.
And the danger here, and I'll conclude on this, is that we are destroying what is even meant for the future.
You see, and I'm going to have you...
Look, let me say this. Mining didn't start today. In fact, Don Diego de Azambuja came here because of what? Mining. And so our people have always done mining small scale. It is the greed, the unmitigated greed. Where now we are using excavators to do massive surface mining. And that is what is creating the problem. It is not, the word galamsey was not coined today. Gather and sell has always been with our people from many, many, many years ago. What has created the problem now is that in the past, our people were just doing, they call it artisanal mining in those days. Small. Then people now brought in the Chinese Shanghai. People now brought in the excavators. And so now they targeted our water bodies directly. That is where the problem is. So on this note, I want to encourage, beyond the political heads, we also need traditional authority.
Yes, because the fundamental question
and look,
is
Domahene, Nana Domahene, Justice Daniel Mensah, made the point that you can't come to Doma to do mining. And that one is about traditional authority. Look, these people who settled in this community, they are landowners. In Ghana, if you go onto somebody's land without the tacit permission of that person, there will be war. In fact, there are wars being fought in this country because of land. How come that you can have thousands of people on the land without the tacit endorsement of the traditional authority? So that is key. That is key. Look, I'm aware. Nana Santihin, for instance, had made a point that chiefs can now be destooled. In the past, the basis for customary destoolment of chiefs did not include galamsey. Nana Santihin had now included it. So if you're a chief and there is evidence that you are engaged in galamsey, it is now grounds for your destoolment as a chief. Painfully. Okay. Senor, do you know that today the Bui Dam is getting compromised?
Hey, Jesus!
You know why? Because from the Savannah region, they are now doing massive mining. And because of the use of the Shanghai, it is silting the Bui downstream. This is a dam that we use $600 million to construct. And so the problem is multifaceted.
It's at the heart of our energy supply.
And that is how we need to approach the conversation going forward.
I thank you. But this, when I showed this video for the first time, when Professor Jampo was walking in, I saw the facial expression, knowing that this is an entire community that was discovered involved in illegal mining. Engineer Dr. Kenashibe, for you, I mean, because Senor touched on, and I indicated that the man who led this task force to discover this community and destroy it, they pulled it down. He's with us on Zoom. He was to join us in the studio, but an operation came up. So let me first acknowledge the presence of Nana Bosompem, who led this task force to destroy, in fact, first discover and destroy this community in the Western region. He is the Western Region Forestry Manager. Nana Bosompem, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning to you, Alfred, and good morning to your distinguished panelists. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Perfect. Now, let me establish this. Did the Forestry Commission have knowledge of the existence of this Abrewa Ninkran in Jerusalem? We understand another community full of illegal miners. All this while, even before the operation was undertaken to burn the community down and drive the people away.
Yes, thanks so much. Yes, I've been in the Western region for close to 2 months now. And in my handing over notes, mention was made of this illegal slum. If people refer to community as a community, it is not a community. It's a slum akin to Sodom and Gomorrah in Accra, because you don't have existing structures, just wooden structures, wooden planks with plywood around them and one roofing sheet on it with several people in there. So I'm aware, yes, it is in our records, and there have been 3 different raids in the community. I'm not sure when it did happen, but for the past years, there have been some raids within the slums of Abrewa Ninkran and Jerusalem. Of course, there was a measure of success, but then some way, somehow, the people managed to regroup and come back in numbers, akin to what we saw the last time during the operation. So I'm aware, my predecessor did mention it to me, that's why it became a point of interest. I'm aware with the previous regional minister and his team, they had been well informed, and at the point, the Forest Commission and the RCC were even planning to undertake a joint operation to flash out and raise down the entire community, but that did not materialize. My predecessor did inform me that even with the current regional administration, they've been duly briefed on the existence of such a slum that abuts the forest full of illegal miners and perpetrating other dastardly activities. So we have been aware, but at the point the people became so strong, the slum is being guarded by armed militants. People refer to as the bulldogs. In fact, when you go there, what they are known for, these are the committee. They administer the slum. And we are told they are very notorious, they are well armed. Intelligence gadgets suggest they may be wielding AK-47 rifles, pump actions, and other offensive weapons. So for a time, we could not go there because anytime my officers even go on their normal official duties, not even on Galamsey or to combat Galamsey, they are attacked. There are companies working lawfully or companies that have concessions within that portion of the Subri River Forest Reserve, such as John Bitar. They've petitioned my office incessantly, talking about the way the miners have treated them. Anytime their trucks are going, they quickly divert those trucks and ask them to go, because that part of the forest belongs to them. So we are aware of the existence of such a slum. But then, without the military support, because the people were armed, it was more dangerous to go in there without the protection of the security agencies.
Well, they're able to ward off companies that had licensed permit to go into this area.
It's a common practice over there. They ward you off with their guns and everything. Heavily built men, very tall in stature. You wonder whether they are even from this country. But they are administering that slum. And all the miners who are allegiance to this group, they pay. In fact, when you get into the community, they take money from you and allot you a parcel of land. Anybody engaging in mining in Forest Reserve, you pay between 200 to 500, depending on your group, to these bulldogs, the armed group that administer the slum. Failure to pay will elicit their wrath. And we heard from the people there, they keep molesting people, they keep beating people with machetes. And there are times that they even come and block the road and tell people that they are taking money from them for the next 3 days. And supposedly they claim they are going to see the police, they are going to see the military, they are going to see the Forestry Commission so that we don't raid the camp. And we are told that the last time they...
Okay, Abusunya we ne ensema ekoso our political highway so Sophia Akuffo na aba be expose A.Markin sa blasting na or say on kananuntum na on share the aircos no jai say or toto ebo eba parks na busua ye bada mase say moje penny kokoti sa audio we edimai aha POG Media so bada mase.